Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So I've been asked a few times about, obviously I've showed how to wire up the 184/193 E46 engine, but I've been asked like more than 10 times about the 5 Series version of the engine, so I figure because I've been asked 10 times I will make a video on it. Technically it is the same, the ECU plug is the same, except one wire has a different colour, the power wire has a different colour, and the side plug, you know how the E46 has a side plug which has like one switch live to wake up one switch live here to power the oil level sensor and the alternator, and one thick black wire to turn the starter. The 5 Series has an extra couple, but the 5 Series, it still makes sense and it's the same. So I've already wired this one on the floor, I've had it running. I'm just going to take you across and show you the diagram for it, even though the ECU plug is the same as an E46, except that pin 26, which on an E46 is green and purple, on a 5 Series and an X5 and a Range Rover, the L232 or whatever it is, they are all green with a black line, but it's still pin 26. So I have this is from a E39 5 Series, alright? So what we've got here is a switch live. We've got a switch live. I'll hate to check the pin number on that, in fact. So this is pin 6. So if that pin 6, right, this one here, it's green and white, that's pin 6. So that makes pin 2 be starter, right? These two here, we've got a yellow brown, or a brown yellow and a brown purple. These are temperature, because the E39 already has the 4-pin temp sensor. So that if this is going in an E36 or something else, this is temp earth and temp signal. On top of that, you don't have to worry about this guy, but when you wake up the ECU and it brings all the relays alive, this becomes live. So this can go inside the car and be your switched live to your relay for fuel pump or aircon or whatever you're using it in. So that's the 5 Series version right there. And on the floor here, I have the plug from the L232, which is the same, respectfully, except they've put the starter in pin 6. So it's 6. No, they've put starter as pin 1. Didn't worry about this one, this is only if it was automatic. This went to the automatic ECU, so we're just bypassing that one right now. And again, it has this red and white, which when you wake up the ECU and all the main relays become live, then this could power a relay. I thought I had a relay line somewhere, yes. So this is like an E46 party loom, right? So this would technically go to something that's red-white on your BMW relay. So that would be it switched live. Your other, it's either straight red or red with purple, would be a constant live. That's power to the fuel pump, and you're just going to have one from the ECU triggering it on earth when to give it fuel. And that's that bit taken care of. Right, so on top of that, we still have the same thing, right? So we still have a green and white here, which is, again, power to oil level sensor. Although we're not using it, you still have to give this power because that's going to excite the alternator. There is an extra wire on this one as well. It's green and red, but again, that's one not to worry about. And then here we have the two same temp wires, temp earth and temp signal. The earth being brown yellow and the signal being brown purple. So this one here, L232 plug. So this video is basically going to cover anything that's not an E46 engine. So if you're using a 530D, a 3 litre diesel from a X5, that's a 193 it would be, and a L232 engine from a Range Rover that runs this BMW M57 as well. This is the L232 plug. So I already have an ECU plug here with the full wiring on it. So I've already had that running on this, but I'm going to take you guys across to the bench and show you what you use and what you don't use from this plug here. Right, so this one's just been cut straight out of that L232 outside, right? And I'll just scan through it straight away to find what would usually be black purple on E46 is black with a green line, which is pin 26. So basically, if I go and plug this is all you need to make it run. Make it run is just wake up the ECU. Waking up the ECU brings on the rest of the relays, power in, glow plugs, injectors, blah blah blah. So you only need to power this to get running on the floor. The rest is just to take care of temp, RPM and stuff like that. So you can literally de-pin everything here except your 6 pedal wires, your oil light, battery light, RPM. It's up to you whether you're going to use start feedback or not. Start feedback in a BMW, it's like when you turn the key and the starter gets 12 volts, it sends a voltage back up this wire and it shuts down every other relay in the BMW so the starter can get the full potential of the battery, basically. So in this plug here, and I have a couple of diagrams. Anything I do here, I always have diagrams and there'll always be a link in the description. So you take this plug, there's 2 wee tabs here. There's a little tab there to take the black plug out and a little tab there to take the grey plug out. So let's go ahead and just take them out now. Right, there's black, and you can't put them back in the wrong way, so don't worry about it. The grey won't go in the black hole and vice versa. You know what I mean? That won't go in there, but that'll go straight in there. Right, let's just unpin a random wire just now. So what you're going to do, you'll see in here, these pins have a little tab on them. So if you push this tab in and pull the wire down, it pulls the pin out. You need to push the tab again and pull the wire out, and that's one wire took out. So at the end, you're going to be left with, at the end of de-pinning all this to what you don't need, you're going to be left with 6 pedal wires, a wire to turn on the fuel pump relay, an RPM wire, an oil light, a battery light, and start feedback if you're going to use it. So I'm not actually going to go ahead and de-pin this because I've done this in a previous video which you guys have probably watched already, so I'll not want to be blabbing on in this video basically. So I'm just going to put this back together and I'll show you what I'm going to show you next. So this diagram that I have here, this is for this diagram, right? This is for a petrol E46, right? So this respectfully is the same as like your ECU plug for the 350 diesel. So it's a TU and a cable throttle version of an E46 engine, right? So this diagram is actually wrong by these 2 wires the wrong way around. So pin 1 should be blue, but they've mixed it up. In 2 seconds I'll actually confirm that just to show you. So we got blue is always battery feedback, you know, to turn the battery light off, and I have it as pin 1. They're saying it's pin 1 is the black and green. So look, they have mixed this up in their diagram. Alright, so you can kind of follow this diagram, but just obviously you're better. I will actually put a picture up of this actual diagram so that you don't get confused with stuff, but these 2 need to be swapped. Don't read this as in this is correct. Alright, but your pins are already in the correct place there, so all you need to do is remember you're only swapping what you know about them. So it's saying this is saying start engine feedback and signal battery charging indicator lamp. You're not swapping them on that, you're just swapping them by what you're reading. Alright? So what I've come to find is this is everything that you need that's on that ECU you're going to use, but because this didn't have a throttle pedal, the throttle pedal wires are going to slot in here. So if I show you this diagram against this one, where you see those empty slots there, that's where your pedal wires go. But only the pedal wires you're going to follow off of this one if you need to. I think I actually have a diagram with the pedal wires written on it, but I wouldn't really show you that diagram because I'm still showing the wake up ECU as green purple, where it's green black for you guys using a 5 Series X5 or Range Rover M57. So that's more what you want to do is follow this one because I've actually wrote it in. Writing's not the best, but whatever. But that's just basically these 2 put together like that, just only for the pedal part. Right, so I'll take you over to the engine now. I'll plug my stuff back in and I'll show you how I've made this run on the floor, alright? 2 seconds to adjust some stuff. I'll try and make this as quick a video as possible. Right, so right now I'm just going to use my E46 loom that I already have. I'm going to plug that in and show you what lives I've connected, what else I've connected and stuff like that. So yeah, it looks like a mess, but it's hanging off an engine crane, right? So I'm going to plug this into here. What you find with these engines, right? Every one of these plugs stay with the engine except this one. This is the one that talks to the chassis, okay? So that's everything plugged in there. I need my 5 series plug back from here to plug into here. I'm not using a fuel pump really right now. I need to grab my walkie battery just so I can just give it fuel myself separate. So I have my E46 loom there with my full uncut pedal wire. I like an uncut pedal wire, I'm sure you guys know by now. But when I'm finished with cars, I actually strip them to the bare bones to get the wiring looms out of them for scrap and stuff like that. So I always keep my wiring intact. But it's no big deal for you guys to go to that extent. It's just me that does that. So I'm going to grab my walkie battery and then I'll quickly take this off the stand and show you what I've done with wires. Right, so this is me at the engine, okay? So this is an earth, alright? I've just made this my earth because it's round the other side of the engine. So right now this is my temporary earth, right? Which I've brought down to here. Fair enough, it is a red cable, but I know it's an earth, right? I've brought it down to here, I've joined it up to an earth battery cable, alright? On top of that, there is another earth on the loom that needs earthed, so I've took this up to this guy here and just wrapped it around temporarily. Then I have the live from the starter, which connects to another battery terminal onto the battery with this red wire running off it, which is powering the glow plug relay and also carrying the constant live for these relays. So basically what's going to happen when I put this, what would be black-green pin 26 to you guys, when I touch this off here, right, you hear the ECU buzz slightly. Hopefully you can hear that, that's it on. So what that does, that basically wakes up this relay, which then powers the full engine. So I'm going to give it a run, I'll put it back on the stand right now. So what I'm going to do, I basically have this on the live, waking up the engine, so I'll just tuck it in there so it stays on. And I'm literally touching the black start wire off the battery terminal and it's going to fire up. And when I want to turn it off, I'm just going to pull that cable. Right now, I don't have a fuel pump really wired up, so I've just got my walkie battery here that I use this for pumping fuel back and forth. And yes, we're on the good diesel today, so I'm literally just going to go give it fuel, just like that right now for quickness. That's how I run these engines on the floor most of the time, unless I have a loom that already has the fuel pump relay intact. Right, I'm going to pause. I've got to stop this right now and put you back on the stand with the phone. Right, so that's the phone back on the stand. Right, so I'm going to pin 26. It's black and purple for me because this is E46, alright? But for you guys, it could be black with a green line and it's still pin 26. I'm going to stuff that in there until I know it's getting power. ECU's still buzzing. I'm going to put my fuel pump on. And I'm literally going to get my black wire from here and touch it with the live till it starts, and then it's going to start up. I think I pulled the live cable when it revved there. It's a bit swingy, but you get the gist of it. It's that simple. These engines are so easy to wire up, it's like unreal. I still don't know why people are paying for like engine looms and stuff for them. So we'll go again. Let's see. Try not to rev it this time. I think I had a loose connection to the ECU plug. Because I'm just stuffing this wire in here, the connection's not good. So that's the basics of it really. There's no more that you need to do except just de-pin, and you'll know what will be left with, like obviously your temp's already on the white plug, so you own this plug, you'll know what will be left with RPM, oil light, battery light, your pin 26 to wake up the ECU. We're not going to manage to get a speed signal into it. If this is not going to another BMW this era, you're not going to get the speed signal into it. You're not going to use CAN unless you're using an auto box. I've never used an auto box, so I can't comment on that stuff. So you literally got to be left with your 6 pedal wires in here. So your six for pedal, right? Then you've got oil light, battery light, RPM, wake up ECU, your fuel pump trigger. So there's like, you've got to be 11 wires there, and you're going to use like 4 on this other plug. I'll just show you the Range Rover one for a second, right? So the green white is going to get switched live to excite what's going to be the blue there, the battery light. That's going to get a switch 12 volt when you put the key on. You've got 2 there for temperature if you've got a temp gauge that could work with this kind of thing. And then you've got, when you wake up the main relays, you have access to an extra power that comes out the way to wire up a fuel pump relay later, and you have your start. This other one is irrelevant, and that's basically it. They're really basic. Right, so for the guys, it was just here for the information on this type of engines. Thanks for watching and stuff like that. If this was helpful to you, please like, share, subscribe. But what I did say to another guy was I was going to show him how you would make this go into an E36. So appreciate you guys for watching. Anyone, I've literally took pictures of this exact paperwork, so you have like my scribblings on it as well, telling you a little more about it, wire colours and stuff like that. I've literally took pictures of these. All of these are going to be in a link in the description to my Google Drive, and any of you guys who has the link can access it. So if you guys was only here to find out how to wire that, then thanks for watching. So now I'm going to go and show you what to do with an E36 loom to make this fit in an E36. I'm not going to do it for you, I'm going to show you some basics in it, and you're going to follow what I've just showed you in the first part as well. So I'm going to take you over to an E36 loom right now, and we'll get stuck into that. Right, so here on the floor I have an E36 loom, just from a 1.8 petrol. Alright, so you're going to take this, and you want to keep this full part intact with the fuel pump relay on it. You know how it's a fuel pump relay because the power to the fuel pump is green with purple. Alright, so you're basically going to come to here and cut these wires there. Alright, in that part, and then throw the rest to the side. And this is going to leave you with this. Right, this is for my own car. I've not de-pinned it yet. I'll show you how to de-pin it. So there we go, green purple on this relay. You have to give that one a constant live here. This one's to get a switch live, and this one is going to get the fuel pump relay signal from the E46, E39 ECU. They're all the same, it's still pin 10. So this is the basics of that. I've not de-pinned this yet, so I've still got wires in here I need to get rid of. But I'll show you the basics of de-pinning this. If I brought my thing. So what you do, instead of just cutting wires and leaving wires in here, you'll find in here, there's a tab in here. If you push that anti-clockwise, you hear it clicking. It kind of snaps open. Maybe I've done this one. Yeah, it was already open. So you push that anti-clockwise and it opens, and you can count a pin. And when you go through my diagram for E36 stuff, which will be in the description as well, it's going to show you what you need and what you don't need. So let me just pick one that I don't need right now, and I could just show you how to get rid of that one. Let me go for this one, pin 19. So you've literally just got to put your pokey tool in there. You do get keys for moving these tools, but I just find this works fine. Watch. Pin deleted, just like that. I'm going to put it back in right now, Phil, because I've still to make a video on doing my M57 into an E36, which is a E46 one. So right now, when you're finished with the pins in here, you're just going to lock this. That's you locked. So next thing you're going to do, you're going to come and you're going to unpin everything that's not necessary in here, okay? And same with here, this doesn't need unpinned, right? But you can power your fuel pump relay from this. This is a switch live for fuel pump. But our switch live on this pin is really small, so I wouldn't use this one. I would use, see when you get this pin 21, it comes out and it can power two things. But you could also, because that wire's that thick, you could take this off and make it power another thing. So I would technically power this small red and white on this to here. So when you switch this on, it's waking up the ECU. It's also going to excite the alternator, which is this green-white on this one. And then from there, everything is colour to colour. So your blue here for alternator is blue here for alternator. Your black-green here for start feedback is your black-green here for start feedback. Your oil white is green-brown. Your oil white is green-brown. Everything is colour to colour here except the starter. The starter on the E36 is black with yellow. The starter on the E39 is straight black. I mean, I'm not going to do this job for you, but the rest of it is pure colour match. To put, this is not colour match though, you know the trigger to put, the earth trigger from the ECU to put the fuel pump on, it's going to be black purple on this loom, but it's like brown with a green line on this loom. But you'll find that out as you go along the diagram. Also, because you're going to use, this is for the fuel pump in the tank of the E36, right? Because you're going to use the undercar fuel pump as well, you need to add a pin to the middle of that because this has two power outputs. If you see the relay, it's got, this is power out to the pump, right? This is also another power out. It's not costing you nothing, it's already there, it's just not in use. You go to an E46 and you take this relay out, it has two wires coming out of here, which is powering in-tank pump, undercar pump. All right, so you just need to add a pin to the middle of that, you know, so it's like putting power somewhere. Right, on top of that, to put this E39 engine into your 3 Series, you need E46 engine arms and mounts. You also need the turbo drain from the turbo because the E39 mount is different to the 46. When you try and put a 46 mount on it, it's technically going to fill the turbo drain on the 5 Series. So that won't work. So this is the list of stuff that you need to get from an E46. You need power steering pipes. The power steering pipes can be from a 320 diesel. It doesn't have to be a 330 diesel as long as it's from a 3 Series. It will fit. You need the two engine arms, have to be from a 3 litre 3 Series. 2 engine arms and 2 engine mounts. The rest of it you can make work, pipes and stuff like that. That's it. That's all you need. So, like I said, I'm not going to do the wiring for you. You don't want to do any of this wiring as well until you have your ECU placed in the ECU hole. You have this plugged in and you have your ECU hole covered up with enough tails hanging out that you're going to be able to join this to this. If you need a rough idea what I mean, go and check my video where I put an E39 engine into an E36 and wired up, and I'll give you a rough idea of what I'm talking about. As in new ECU in the ECU hole in the 36, your X20 plug plugged in, and your 2 extra plugs that you're going to wire up just coming out the ECU box and marrying up to these wires. So technically that's this video done. Alright, but what I do have here, is the diagram of an X20 plug, right? Which I'll also include in the Google Drive, and you're not going to use anything from 1 to 9. Everything after that you're going to use that. That's 2 temps. That's your fuel pump. That one's not used. That's the start feedback black green. You're not going to use that, but if you need an extra switch live, this is live when the key is on. Pin 17 is OBD, which you're going to use that from the that's white purple. You're going to connect that to the white purple that's already on the ECU, and then later you're going to add an OBD2 port inside your car, and that will communicate with the ECU, no problem. Again, this was all covered in my E39 engine into E36 video, which was my last video. Again, this was covered on the last video as well. This is to start the engine. No, in fact, that's to start the engine. This one's RPM, switched live, oil pressure, don't use fuel consumption, and battery charging light after it has a switched live to excite the alternator. So, today that's all we have. So like I said, I'm going to take a picture of these, I'm going to put them in a Google Drive. Hopefully this video was a bit helpful to you guys, because I've been asked like 10 times about the E39 variation of the engine. If you're clever enough with wires, you can make it make sense between the E46 only having a 2-pin plug on the side, which houses a black green, a green white and a black. That's all the E46 has. So when you come to an E39, it's slightly different. Again, the Range Rover one's slightly different again. However, when you look at the wires and the colours, it makes sense. It's the same deal basically. But yeah, anyway guys, I'm going to end the video here. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. I'll be back soon with another video. Hopefully it'll be the E46 204 into the E36, actually showing the wiring and stuff like that. But yeah, I'll be back soon guys. Take it easy. Thanks for watching. Every one of these documents will be in the link to the description. They'll be in the description of the video with a link, so you guys can access all this paperwork that I've done the hard work finding what everything does and the correct way to do it and stuff like that, and explain it to you guys so you can actually understand it. So see you in the next one guys. Take it easy. Thank you.